If you truly want the major key to a better future, it starts right here: personal responsibility. That's the cornerstone, the foundation, the starting point of all meaningful change. Now you can read all the books, attend all the seminars, listen to all the brilliant minds share their wisdom, but until you accept that your life is a result of your own decisions, your own actions, and your own responses, nothing will change. The future doesn't change until you do. You see, it's a hard truth, but it's a liberating one. No one is coming to rescue you. Not the government, not your boss, not your spouse, not even your closest friend. And while that might sound a bit heavy at first, here's the beauty of it. You are the rescuer. You hold the power. That's the best news I could give you today, because if it's up to you, then guess what? You can begin the process of change whenever you decide. Responsibility isn't about guilt. It's not about blame. It's not about pointing fingers at yourself for all the things that went wrong. It's about ownership. Ownership is power. When you say, "I'm in charge of my life," then you also say, "I'm in charge of my future." That kind of mindset separates those who drift from those who design. It separates those who settle from those who strive. When you take responsibility for where you are, you gain the authority to choose where you're going. Now, there's a tendency in today's world to look outward when things aren't going well. We say, "It's the economy," or "It's my upbringing," or "If only my manager appreciated me more," or "If I had better luck." But let me tell you something important. It's not what happens that determines your life's future. It's what you do about it. Life will always present circumstances, some favorable, some challenging, but it's your response that writes the script. When you look at successful people, truly successful people, not just financially, but in their relationships, in their health, in their peace of mind, you'll find one common trait. They don't run from responsibility, they embrace it. They look in the mirror and say, "This is on me. If I want a better result, I have to get better. If I want better relationships, I must become a better communicator. If I want more wealth, I must become more valuable in the marketplace. If I want health, I must change how I treat my body." See, once you stop giving away your power to circumstances, to people, to excuses, then, and only then, do you truly begin to live. You stop drifting, you start directing, you stop reacting, you start creating. It's a shift in identity. No longer are you the victim of your story. You become the author. You get your pen back and start writing the next chapter with clarity and purpose. This concept of personal responsibility might sound simple, and it is, but it's not easy because it demands honesty. It demands that you look at your life and admit, "I could have done better. I should have acted sooner. I made that mistake." That's tough, but it's noble. It's the attitude of a leader, of a learner, of someone serious about their future. You see, maturity begins when you stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What am I going to do about it?" That shift is powerful. It changes the energy. It moves you from a passive role to an active one. And the moment you move from passive to active, your whole future starts to take shape. Now, it doesn't mean you won't face setbacks. Of course you will, but with responsibility comes resilience. When something knocks you down, instead of saying, "Why me?" you say, "What can I learn here? How can I grow from this? How can I use this experience, not be used by it?" Responsibility breeds wisdom. When you start observing your patterns, your habits, your language, your thoughts, then you become a student of your own life. You start to notice the cause and effect chain. You begin to see that what you do today shapes what you'll have tomorrow. That your choices compound, that your thoughts become your words become your actions, and your actions become your future. It's no longer about waiting for the right opportunity. It's about becoming the right person, the person who's prepared, who's alert, who's building skill, who's developing character. And let me tell you, once you start taking that kind of responsibility, something amazing happens. You begin to attract better results. Not by magic, but by motion. The motion of effort, the motion of growth, the motion of ownership. Because responsibility is more than just a mindset, it's a lifestyle. It's waking up each day and saying, today I run my life. I don't let life run me. It's saying, I am the architect. If the blueprint is off, I redraw it. If the foundation is weak, I strengthen it. If I'm not where I want to be, I move. Not blame, not wait, not wish, I move. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. There's a powerful truth that separates those who simply survive from those who thrive. If you want to have more, you must become more. The most valuable asset in your life is you, not your job, not your title, not your bank account, you. And the most important investment you can ever make is not in stocks or real estate or crypto. It's the daily investment in your own growth. Your own thinking, your own mindset, your own discipline. That's where the real future is shaped. You see, most people are taught to work hard on their job, and that's fine. That's honorable, but that's only one side of the equation. If you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune, not just a financial fortune, but a fortune in wisdom, in fulfillment, in the kind of person you become. The real wealth isn't found in what you earn. It's found in who you are when you earn it. Your job is part of the system. It's an exchange of time and skill for compensation. But personal development, that's the internal system. That's what turns average into excellent. That's what transforms a routine day into a meaningful one. That's where you discover your capacity to influence, to create, to inspire, and to lead. Working on yourself means you raise your value not just in the marketplace, but in every room you walk into. The truth is, your level of success will rarely exceed your level of personal growth. Success is something you attract by the person you become. If you want to be paid more, serve more. If you want to lead more, grow more. If you want a better career, become a better communicator, a better thinker, a better problem solver. You don't get ahead by waiting. You get ahead by working on yourself until the opportunity has no choice but to notice. And let's be honest, it's easier to coast. It's easier to do the minimum and hope for the best, but growth doesn't live in comfort. Growth lives in discipline. It lives in study. It lives in reflection. It lives in the quiet moments when no one is watching and you still choose to rise. When you still choose to learn, when you still choose to stretch your potential a little further than you did yesterday. Most people want change in their life without change in themselves. They say, I want more money, but they're not developing the skills that money responds to. They say, I want a better relationship, but they're not becoming more patient, more understanding, more emotionally intelligent. They say, "I want peace," but they haven't trained their mind to handle chaos. Everything you want has a corresponding version of you that must be built before it arrives. This is why personal development is the most honest path you can take, because it exposes what's missing. It confronts your excuses, it challenges your laziness, and it replaces them with self-respect. Because when you grow, you stop waiting for circumstances to change, and you become the kind of person who changes them. And here's what's beautiful: growth compounds. One idea read in a book can change how you speak. One adjustment in your attitude can change how people respond to you. One new habit done daily can change your health, your energy, your focus. You don't need to move mountains overnight. You just need to move yourself forward consistently, intentionally. A better you creates a better world around you. Working hard on yourself also builds something that's becoming rare these days: character, that quiet strength inside that doesn't need applause to do what's right. That doesn't need a stage to bring value. It's the kind of strength that shows up when things go wrong. When the market falls, when the doors close, when the pressure rises, that's when your internal development pays off. Because you didn't just build a resume, you built resilience. And don't misunderstand, this isn't just about reading more or listening to more. That's a good start. But real growth shows up in how you respond when you're tired, when you're offended, when you're discouraged. That's the test. That's where you find out if your self-work is real or just wishful. And when you pass those tests, when you rise instead of retreat, you earn a kind of self-respect that no one can give you and no one can take away. The best part of working on yourself is that it never goes to waste. No matter what happens in the world, the economy, the company, the relationship, you take you with you. If everything crashes tomorrow and you've worked hard on your job but not on yourself, you're starting over. But if everything crashes and you've worked hard on yourself, you're not starting over, you're starting ahead. You've still got the wisdom, you've still got the skill, you've still got the mindset. The world may shake, but you're grounded. And that's the power of growth. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. One of the greatest shifts a person can make in life is to stop wishing for the circumstances to get easier and start developing the strength to rise above them, because the truth is, challenges are not going away. Life is not going to hand you success on a silver platter just because you want it. The economy won't always be strong. People won't always treat you fairly. The weather won't always cooperate. The deal won't always close, but you can get better. You can become stronger, wiser, more capable. That's the key. That's the way forward. That's where power lives. Wishing things were easier is a trap. It creates a mindset of passivity. It plants seeds of helplessness. When you wish things were easier, you place the responsibility for your success on something outside of you. You say, if only the traffic wasn't so bad, I'd be on time. If only my manager understood me, I'd perform better. If only I had more money, I'd make it work. That mindset feels comforting for a moment, but it steals your potential. Because while you wait for life to adjust to you, someone else out there is adjusting themselves to life, and they're getting ahead. You see, the question isn't, will life be hard? It will be. The question is, will you rise to meet it? Life was never meant to be easy. Life is meant to shape you, to refine you, to teach you through experience. When you start wishing to become better instead of wishing for ease, you grow into someone who can handle the hard days. And that's where confidence is born, not from having it easy, but from facing what's difficult and discovering that you're not only capable, you're resilient. Wishing to be better is where the real growth begins, because it shifts your focus inward. It reminds you that you're not powerless. You're not stuck. You're not defined by your past, your background, or your current situation. You can learn. You can train. You can evolve. You can outgrow the old version of yourself. You can develop new skills, new habits, new thinking. And with that new version of you comes a new level of life. When you wish to be better, you stop blaming and start building. You stop complaining and start creating. You don't wait for the storm to pass. You become the kind of person who can sail in rough seas. You don't avoid adversity, you get prepared for it, because you know that the quality of your future is directly tied to the quality of you. Not just what you know, but how you think, how you act, how you respond under pressure. And here's the interesting thing: when you get better, life actually gets easier. Not because the problems go away, but because you've upgraded your ability to deal with them. You've trained your mind not to panic, but to pause. You've trained your discipline to keep going when motivation disappears. You've trained your habits to support you, not sabotage you. You've trained your emotions to be guided by purpose, not reaction. That's what better looks like. It's internal, it's invisible at first, but eventually it shows up in everything you touch. There's something remarkable that happens when you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and instead ask, "What can this teach me?" That small shift moves you from victim to student, from powerless to prepared. And when you become a student of life, you start to understand that every tough situation carries a lesson. Every failure is feedback. Every closed door is an invitation to find a better one. Life is not trying to break you, it's trying to build you. But here's the part most people miss. Wishing to be better isn't just about working harder, it's about working wiser. It's about learning from your mistakes instead of repeating them. It's about slowing down when needed, reflecting when things don't go right, and being honest with yourself when you fall short. It's not just about grinding, it's about growing. Growth that's intentional, growth that's grounded, growth that shows up not just in what you do, but in who you are becoming. And let's not forget, better doesn't mean perfect. It doesn't mean you'll never feel tired, never feel afraid, never face setbacks. Better means you'll handle those moments with more grace, more patience, more clarity. Better means you'll bounce back faster. You'll see problems as puzzles, not punishments. You'll look at your journey and say, "I may not be there yet, but I'm not where I was. I'm better, and that's enough to keep going." This mindset, this decision to stop wishing for an easier path and instead become a better traveler, is what separates those who live life on repeat from those who rise and build a life they're proud of. Because the journey never gets simpler, but you can get sharper, you can get braver, you can get better equipped. And with each step, each lesson, each challenge, you develop the kind of strength that not only transforms your own life, it becomes a light for others trying to do the same. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. It's easy to set a goal. In fact, most people do. At the beginning of the year, the month, the week, even the day, we write down what we want: a better body, a stronger income, more time with family, less stress, more meaning. The vision is there, the desire is real, the goal is clear, but then comes the gap, the space between what we want and what we achieve, and that space is only filled by one thing: discipline, because without discipline, goals remain wishes. Without discipline, dreams stay on the page. Discipline is the bridge that takes what exists in your mind and makes it real in the world. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's not glamorous. It's not loud. It's not celebrated, but it's powerful. It's the early morning when no one is watching. It's choosing the book instead of the screen. It's saying no when everything in you wants to say yes to the easy way out. It's keeping your word to yourself long after the excitement has faded. Discipline is where your future begins to take shape, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows of your daily decisions. People often ask why they're not getting the results they want. They say, "I've got the vision, I've got the passion, I've got the idea," but passion without discipline burns out. Vision without discipline stays blurry. Ideas without discipline become regrets. You can have the greatest plan in the world, but if you don't have the discipline to execute, nothing changes. The bridge never gets built. The future never arrives. And that's the painful truth. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack follow-through. Discipline isn't just about working hard, it's about working consistently. You don't have to give everything one day, you have to give something every day, because what you do daily is who you become permanently. Small disciplines done regularly are far more powerful than intense efforts done occasionally. One healthy meal won't change your life, but a year of them will. One workout won't transform your body, but the habit will. One productive hour won't build an empire, but stacking those hours day after day will move mountains. There's a certain peace that comes with discipline, because when you know you're doing what needs to be done, even if it's hard, even if it's uncomfortable, you build self-respect. You stop looking for motivation from the outside because you've found integrity on the inside. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone. You're proving it to yourself quietly every single day. And that builds something that success alone can't buy: inner strength. Discipline teaches you to think long-term in a short-term world. In a world that's obsessed with speed, comfort, and shortcuts, discipline reminds you that real success is built, not downloaded. That anything worth having takes time, that excellence is not an act, it's a habit, and when you commit to the habit, the results will eventually follow. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but they will, because time always reveals the truth, and discipline always leaves a trail. Now, let's be clear. Discipline is not easy. It means sacrifice. It means discomfort. It means doing things you don't want to do when you'd rather do anything else. But discipline isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's you telling the future, "I'm ready for you. I'm serious about this. I'm building the foundation now so I can handle the weight of success later." Because success without discipline is fragile. It collapses the moment things get difficult, but success built on discipline, that lasts, and there's something else. Discipline doesn't just build results. It builds identity. The moment you start living with discipline, you stop being the person who tries and start becoming the person who does. You shift from someone who hopes to someone who acts. You no longer define yourself by your failures or even your dreams. You define yourself by your consistency. And that's the most powerful shift of all, because once you believe you're someone who follows through, your entire relationship with your future changes. Everything you want has a price, not always in money, but in effort, in time, in commitment. Discipline is how you pay that price. Discipline is how you earn the right to receive what you've asked for. And when you're disciplined, you don't just get the reward, you become the kind of person who can handle it, sustain it, and expand it. That's the deeper reward, not just achieving a goal, but growing into the kind of person who never needed to be pushed, only pointed in the right direction. It's easy to look at someone who's accomplished something great and admire their talent, but what you don't always see is the 1,000 quiet mornings they showed up, the times they kept going when no one believed in them, the decisions they made in silence, the discipline they lived by when it didn't feel rewarding. That's the real story, that's the real path, and that's why discipline is the bridge, because without it, the gap stays wide. But with it, day by day, step by step, you walk your way from where you are to where you want to be. Success is something you attract by the person you become. Success isn't something you chase down like it's hiding from you. It's not some elusive prize floating around that only the lucky or the privileged get to catch. No, success is something you attract. And you attract it by becoming the kind of person that success is drawn to. It's not about chasing more, it's about becoming more. It's about developing yourself into the kind of person who naturally lives at the level they once dreamed of. Because your life doesn't rise by chance, it rises by change, the change that starts within you. There's a natural law that governs this idea. You don't get in life what you want, you get what you are. If you want more success, you've got to become more valuable. If you want more influence, become more trustworthy. If you want better relationships, become a better communicator. If you want better opportunities, sharpen your skills, elevate your thinking, refine your habits. You don't wish for success and then sit back. You grow into it, you expand into it, you earn it not through luck, but through alignment with the kind of person who can carry it. Think about it this way: success is a mirror. It reflects your habits, your thoughts, your attitude, your daily disciplines. If you look into that mirror and you don't like what you see, the solution is not to smash the mirror. The solution is to work on your reflection, because the world responds to the energy, the intention, and the level of maturity you bring to it. You don't need to manipulate success into coming to you. You need to become the kind of person it has no choice but to be around. A lot of people make the mistake of trying to shortcut the process. They think if they can just learn the tactics, memorize the strategies, follow the exact steps someone else took, they'll get the same results. But success doesn't respond to mimicry. It responds to authentic growth. You can't fake becoming. You can't fake consistency, discipline, or mindset. You have to go through the process. You have to build the foundation inside so the results outside can stand on something solid. This is why personal growth is not optional. It's essential. Because no matter how much you want to achieve, you'll only rise to the level of the person you've become, not 1 inch higher. And the beautiful thing is, you're not stuck with who you are today. You can evolve. You can rewire your thinking. You can rewrite your beliefs. You can outgrow your bad habits and replace them with new standards. That's the invitation not to chase success, but to grow into it. Success comes to the person who's prepared for it. And preparation isn't just about knowledge, it's about mindset. It's about responsibility. It's about the willingness to be honest with yourself about your weaknesses and committed enough to strengthen them. When you become more intentional with your growth, you start noticing that success shows up not as a surprise, but as a consequence. It becomes the byproduct of living with discipline, focus, and integrity. You'll notice that the most successful people are rarely the ones screaming for attention. They're too busy becoming excellent. They don't need to announce their worth. They've developed themselves to a point where it speaks for itself. Their results follow them because their character leads them. They've attracted success by becoming the kind of person who naturally draws it in through their decisions, their attitude, their persistence. It's not luck, it's alignment. Success isn't a destination, it's a reflection of who you've become on the journey. If you want to change your results, don't start by changing your environment, start by changing you. Upgrade your thinking and your circumstances will begin to reflect that. Strengthen your character and your opportunities will begin to match that. Raise your standards and your results will eventually catch up, because the outer world follows the inner world. It always has. That's why it's never about having more. It's about becoming more. And when you do the inner work, the external rewards tend to arrive right on time. Maybe not when you expect them, but exactly when you've grown enough to carry them. Success doesn't show up to rescue you, it shows up to match you. It shows up to validate the person you've become through your efforts, your discipline, your values. And once you realize that, everything changes. You stop hoping for a lucky break and start becoming the kind of person who doesn't need one. This is the great shift. You stop looking outward for your breakthrough and start looking inward for your growth. Because when you grow, everything around you eventually reflects it. The quality of your conversations, the size of your vision, the depth of your confidence, the strength of your network, they all rise. Not because you chased them, but because you became the kind of person they were meant to find. Success is not pursued, it's attracted, and the magnet is who you choose to become every single day. Conclusion: the future doesn't respond to luck or hope or mere intention. It responds to personal growth, to discipline, to the choices we make every day to become more than we were yesterday. The major key to a better future isn't found outside of us. It's not waiting in some better economy, a better government, or better weather. It's found within your mindset, your habits, your decisions, your character. When you take full responsibility for your life, you stop blaming and start building. You trade excuses for action. You stop wishing for things to be easier and begin the real work of becoming better. You learn that discipline is what moves the needle. It's what closes the gap between dreaming and doing, between who you are and who you're capable of becoming. And most importantly, you understand that success is not something to chase, it's something you attract by becoming the person who is ready to receive it. So if you truly want a better future, don't wait for something out there to change. Start changing in here. Because your future is not something you stumble into. It's something you shape moment by moment through the person you decide to become.